Hi all, Kyburn1 here, and this is review number 84, Blood Bayou, for D&D 3.x. And this is for the Scarlands campaign setting, but you could drop it anywhere with minor lore tweaks or just omit some stuff. Okay, so this book is all black and white. That might turn you off at first, right? It's the character that counts, not the presentation. This book is highly recommended. The three other materials I would recommend utilizing with this book are The Guildmaster's Guide to Ravnica, Domains of Dread for D&D 2nd edition, and The Isle of Dread, the Goodman Games 5th edition rewrite of The Isle of Dread. Okay, so, and the reasons are, you have the pirate connection for the Domain of Dread, for the Isle of Dread. You have this Dark Lord aspect of the carnies. There's irredeemably evil, but they play by a set of rules. And then for Ravnica, the cult of Rakdos is a carnival. They will actually harm you during a performance. The carnival in this is not designed to harm people on one stipulation. So let me get into the story. Okay. So imagine you have gathered a bunch of sick and insane people at your hospital and your sanatorium. And it's almost nightfall. And just as the sun starts to set, you hear music off in the distance. Slowly, you start to see torches, and the music gets louder and louder. It's kind of cheery music, but with something in there that you can't describe. And you see these performers and the head of the carnival. And if you could detect evil, you would know that these people are irredeemably evil. They will not harm you, though, if you play by their rules. And the rule is simple. You have fun with them all night. You laugh, you jeer, you do whatever you need to do. But as soon as the dusk comes upon in the night, you must return to your home and be tucked safely in bed and keep your windows closed. For if you stay out, you'll find out that the fate of everybody in the hospital and the sanatoriums is that of your own. If you went to bed and you followed the rules, the next day you will realize that anybody that stayed out, anybody that was ill, anybody that was insane, is now missing. And there is not one trace left of the carnival. Alright, so what is Blood Bayou? Well, you have a pirate's den, you have an insane carnival, and you have a bayou, which is kind of a swamp. And yes. So there's a lot of information in here. But that story I told was a variation of a story in here. And I'm going to get into why this book is important. It's got a lot of little maps and stuff showing how things are connected, and that's great. Bloodport. Bloodport's really cool. Most of the descriptions are in 2 paragraphs. So let's look at number 2 right here. And that is Blood Island. This island serves as a market, trading post, and entertainment district, all rolled into one. It is strictly controlled by the Fences Guild, an alliance of smugglers and traders who specialize in selling pirate loot in distant ports. They provide most of the weapons, armor, supplies, and various luxuries the pirates desire in exchange for gold, gems, and other goods looted from ships. The Fences then transport the stolen goods to distant lands, reselling them to smugglers or sneaking them into markets themselves. Shops, inns, taverns, and brothels cluster around the around the trade square. See below. Each of the innkeepers enjoys a strong alliance with one or more of the powerful captains who drop anchor here. Without such support, they would soon face robberies and assaults that would drive them out of business. Even so, brawls, knivings, and even murders are common in the taprooms of Bloodport. The tavern keepers take care to offer low rates to customers connected to their patrons. Most of those who work in these establishments are veteran pirates, too old or infirm to crew ships any longer. The captains promote the presence of the taverns because they serve an important function of the taverns, as an important function of rest and relaxation centers for the crew. So, basically, the taverns are important to the captains. So, the taverns and the captains keep an alliance, and this area is meant to be the hub for pirates. It just functionally works. Watch Pirates of the Caribbean. You'll see the thematic importance of having a hub for pirates. And let's see. If we keep going, you will see that there's all sorts of interesting NPCs. There's interesting locations. This book has some really excellent black and white art like this. The Swamp Tower is super cool. And a wall of talking faces. That is interesting. It slightly reminds me of that scene in Labyrinth with the hands, but completely different. You have another map. And then they also recommend some other Sword and Sorcery Studios books. Alright. You have castles here. Lots of different stuff. A section on life in the Bayou. Encounter table. And then over here, you can see this mule or donkey getting eaten by this crocodile. I think that would be more interesting if this was a horse. Bring it to the scale of would-be horror that is Lake Placid. You remember when Betty White's feeding the cows to that huge crocodile or alligator, whatever it is? Yeah. If this was a horse, this guy would be a lot more concerned. Almost like this and this. You have sections on the temperature, and then you have different hazards. So let's see. Minor hazards: broken ground, forgotten trap, hornet's nest, lost, mud bog, muddy slope, pests, swamp cough, tainted water, Vithric plant. Serious hazards: ancient pit, burial ground, infestation, plague of locusts, quicksand, sickness, spike trap, tumbling ruin, venom thorns, and water surge. And I really like how these are in alphabetical order. And let's see. Yeah. All right. Some good advice on how to go about it. The Carnival of Shadows. It takes a while to get here, like if you're reading the book all the way through. But this section really, really captured my attention and really inspired me on some of the things I wanted to accomplish in my own games. And there you have them. Beautiful art with insane people. And you could stick the Blood Bayou directly on the Isle of Dread as kind of their home away from home, their little port town, which is kind of like Tortuga, I guess, where it's in a location not necessarily governed by any major government of the time, and it just works because it's something that the pirates have for themselves, and that works. Court of Chaos. You just have some really fascinating dark horror art. And it kind of reminds me of Dark Souls in the aspect of it's interesting at a surface level, but the deeper you dive into it, you realize that there are lore connections, reasons behind why things are presented the way they're presented. And that makes this book a little trickier to really capture the essence of if you're transporting it to anything else. Because the Scarred Lands, like Golarion for Pathfinder, it's very intricate. This guy actually kind of reminds me of Collector from Mortal Kombat 11. And that's pretty cool. So, once again, really cool art that just captures the imagination. Like, what's possible here? Game mastering the Bayou. So, I'm going to warn you, there is some brief nudity in this book. And this is another reason why I think this would be perfect to go into the Isle of Dread. And yeah, Blood Bayou, Sword and Sorcery Studios, the Scarred Lands, 3rd edition fantasy, highly recommended. And I absolutely love this. I hope you do too. All right, and Kyber one out. Thank you.